Hi guys, Stanley Orr here, and before we get into the video, I just want to apologize for the delay. You see, I just got out of self-isolation after arriving in Canada to see Lisa, the other member of this channel and now my fiance, and we got a bit carried away just hanging out in the lead up to Christmas. That being said, I'm here now with a new video and I'm sure you'll like it. So if you like what you see here, be sure to subscribe because we do post videos every single Saturday, and we make up for it if we don't. And yeah, that's about it. So enjoy the video, guys. Okay. So, today I will be showing you some very basic concept art for a game idea that has been bouncing around in the back of my mind for the past week. And that is, namely, a game about giant robots, aka the best kind of game. It came to me in a dream. I saw a giant mech drilling into the ground and harvesting materials from the earth. It then took these materials and started melting them down inside of some sort of mobile factory it had strapped to it. And then once the process was done, it started pouring the molten material out in some sort of rapidly hardening metal that it was using to construct a wall right there on the spot. There was a whole team of these mechs working together to create some sort of construction. All was going smoothly for this group until over the hill, danger approached in the form of more mechs from a different country, all armed to the teeth with machine guns, railguns, rockets, the works. Seeing the danger, the pilots for the first team sounded the red alert, and their nearby guards came in to defend them as the raiders swarmed. A battle ensued, obviously, and it looked pretty darn awesome if I'm being honest. This mech-on-mech combat combined with like a strategy-type game of harvesting and constructing, it made me think of some sort of cross between two of my favorite games that I ever played. Age of Empires 2, the classic real-time strategy game that I have spent countless hours playing with my dad, and the video game version of BattleTech, where you customize and pilot giant mechs in a massive, pure game of awesome combat and managing your finances as a mercenary company. So yeah, needless to say, the foundation for the idea was laid out pretty crystal clear, and now I wanted to at least make some sort of concept art for it and see how I felt afterwards. One of my favorite elements of BattleTech is the insane amount of customization you can have with your mechs when it comes to mounting weapons, armor, equipment, upgrades, and all sorts of stuff like that. It comes down to a very fine balancing act that sort of reminds me of building a computer where you have to have parts that match with other parts, but there's still a lot of flexibility. Anyways, this sort of idea made me want to go for a modular design with everything these robots could do in my game, where it was like very open-ended. You had to have pieces that match with other pieces, of course, like medium won't fit in small and giant won't fit in medium. But like, as far as equipment and limbs and maneuverability, I wanted it to basically be really flexible. So the idea was to create components individually and then assemble them after the fact using a sprite sheet, and more on that later. Although I myself am not a huge fan of the final design for these cockpits that I created, I do like the concept, and the only point of this was to get the concept itself across. Like, they're a little too bubbly and cartoonish looking for my tastes, but they do achieve what I want them to achieve, namely creating that sort of 3D rendered sprites effect that you see in games like Command & Conquer and Factorio and Age of Empires, where the sprites that are generated are created using 3D CGI models. Okay, and here you see I was creating sockets for the various limb sizes to attach to small, medium, and large, depending on the cockpit size itself. And on the bottom I also created an attachment for you to possibly insert a storage unit or another torso to have additional limbs attached to that even. So, like I was saying, very modular. That's what I find the most appeal is with this game concept, is the thought of creating modular little robots, well, giant robots, but they look little to you because you've got a bird's eye view. Anyways, creating them, customizing them, manufacturing them, having them sent out into the field, and then seeing their little custom sprites that match your specs just walking around the area. It's just kind of neat to see your customization reflected in the actual game environment with 2D sprites. It's like kind of it would be a feat of programming, that's for sure, but I think the end result would look really cool. Also, for those of you who are curious, the program I'm using is called Animator, spelled with an 8, so that's ANIM8OR. It's a freeware CGI creation program that I find very helpful for modeling basic things and giving me models to draw, or in this case, creating sprites that can be used for tiny little images that aren't requiring a ton of detail. It's a very basic program, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't use it for professional CGI films or anything, but if you're studying CGI or if you're wanting to create, like for example, like I talked about, drawing models to reference when you're creating images, this is the way to go. Super helpful and very easy to learn once you get the hang of it. And here's another quick general art tip. If you're wanting things to appear bigger, add more detail to them. If you're wanting them to appear smaller, make them simpler. The reason for this is obviously because bigger things have more detail on them in real life. Like, think of a real car as opposed to a toy car. The little RC toy car will not have that same sort of detail to it as a real life car does, with all the intricate undercarriage stuff, and not to mention all the dings and scratches it gets from use. So you can see here I've created the CGI sprite sheets for the different robots, and what I did was I ran a color filter through Krita, the art program I used to assemble them, and made it so that we could have different examples of different team colors like red, blue, teal, purple, yellow, etc. In addition to that, I went ahead and went through the trouble of assembling a few of the robots using the pieces I had, and let me tell you, that was a bit of a pain in the butt. I will have to revise my attempts if I ever think of going forward with this project as like a side thing. I think it's worth the hassle, but I think my method was off somehow, but I'll get back on that later. This is something that would take a lot longer than just one sit-down recording session to dish out, you know? Anyways, that's all I have for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I apologize again for the video being late. Yeah, I really have no excuse other than I finally made it into the country and I was distracted by hanging out with my fiance and her family, so just trust me that the next video I create will not be late. And I'm also waiting around for my desktop computer to finally come in, which has a lot of my programs on it, so that would obviously help me get more stuff done. Anyways, that's all we have for right now, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please remember to subscribe because we do have videos coming every single Saturday, and next week it's Lisa's turn, so she'll have something really interesting for you, trust me. It'll probably pertain to the main devlog for Exit Stage Left, the game we're currently working on. So stay tuned for that, and until next time, I will see you later.